Good morning, Warzone kids. Someone said to me, Ben, have you ever considered healing? And I had not. I had never used that word. I did not particularly like that word. But I started using it then, and I made my way to a place called Hidden Water. It's an organization that facilitates healing circles for those affected by child sex abuse. And I signed up for a healing circle.
I held my nose. I held my nose, and I signed up for a healing circle.
And I waited a long time, like 6 months or 9 months. It seemed like forever. But I got in one. And I wanted to bomb out of the group many, many times every meeting for the first 3 weeks. Everyone got on my nerves. It was a lot of people to wrangle. And I wrote the director of the organization many very salty emails, none of which I sent. 12 weeks later, at the end of the circle, I was having feelings I had never had in my life. Never. I felt a connection with these 7 other child sex abuse survivors. I'd never been around another child sex abuse survivor when we both knew it. I've been around more child sex abuse survivors than I conceivably could have imagined, and so have you. I won't say endemic, but it's endemic, whether they say it or not. And I felt a connection to those people. I did not know that I had never felt a connection to another person before, because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it felt like to be seen for stuff that I'd hidden my whole life. Every time I shared something that I thought I could never share, the kind of things that you may have where your heart's pounding at the thought of talking about it, if you could even put it into words. Sometimes you can't. But if you're in a little group with 8 other child sex abuse survivors, and you're in a healing circle, which is a format that goes back a long time in some form or fashion, what I found was that every time I shared something that I thought I could never share, I saw heads nodding at me. Heads in boxes on a Zoom screen. They were nodding at me. I'm a man. These are mostly women. I've only been in one circle where I was the only man. I've shared things that I thought were so exclusively male that no woman could possibly relate except in the bottom of their heart out of some kind of, solidarity with their fellow human creature. They would abstractly be able to relate to. Joke was on me, and maybe them too, nodding heads. And I strongly suspect there were women in these circles who have shared things that they may have thought I couldn't relate to as a man. I'm pretty sure I saw my head going up and down. There are things that I've heard other people say and put into words that I could not have put into words the way they did. But when they put them into words, I knew what they were talking about. And I knew that another person had known the pain and suffering that I'd known, and the isolation and the darkness and the alienation from everything and everyone. I saw it on their face. They saw it on my face. I saw what may as well have been the intro to the Brady Bunch. All of them. Here's a story about some Warzone kids. They were dreaming that they're the only one. Then the 8 of them got all together. And wow, did they have lots of fun. That was amazingly stupid, but I'll probably leave it in. Because it's true. It's true. By the time that circle was over, I'd had experiences I'd never had before. Clear-eyed, sober-minded experiences of together in oneness with those other Warzone kids. All the acid in the world, all the K, all the shrooms in the world. No. Never did any K, but I'd done plenty of the rest of that. No. Just 8 Warzone kids having a conversation with each other that none of us thought we could ever have. Wow. Your mileage may vary. It's not for everyone. Hidden Water wasn't for me before then. I didn't think it was for me while I was doing it until I came out of a cocoon. Healing, growing, becoming ourselves for us Warzone kids. Because we all of us had periods of time in our lives when we were utterly alone out in the frozen darkness on the far side of Pluto. Not even a planet. That's how I felt. Thanks, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Took my planet away. No, I think he was on the Pluto side. Thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, for sticking up for Pluto. The home world of Warzone kids before they start the path to healing. Getting closer to the sun. Out on the dark side of Pluto in the frozen dark. Everyone could relate to that. Because we had experiences that were like that. To become ourselves, we have to find a land where we belong. That's what I think. We have to build that land together. We have to heal together and become ourselves together in some kind of way. Not everyone can go to healing circles. Not everyone wants to. It might make you vomit. But somehow, we got to do it together. And at least, if it's as close as you get, and you're a child sex abuse survivor, you can just know, I can tell you this, I would bet mortgage money on it. You're not alone in the way that you felt about things. You're just not. The darkest feelings, the most complicated feelings, all the feelings that I think it's possible to have, I and my fellow Warzone kids have shared with each other that we have them. Yes, even the ones that you might be thinking right now, not that, especially that, especially that. I myself have drug out all kinds of stuff from the deep, dark sub-basement of my mind that I thought could never see the light of day and spat them out and shared them. And other people have done the same. And I've just never encountered anyone in those circles that said something that all the rest of us couldn't relate to. That was life-altering to me. I'm an independent character. I mean, my natural place in society is like on the outskirts. I love for there to be a nice, close, tight-knit society and community with people all doing their thing. That's great. I'll be over there on the edge of town because that's where I feel safe. This is true even though I've become the president of organizations and, you know, had jobs that had words like leader on them, or at least in the title. Because that's a way that I can be on the outskirts of the group, in front of it, leading it. Because I'm afraid of groups of people. I mean, who isn't? If you don't believe that, go to a open mic night for stand-up, put your name in a hat, see how you feel while you're waiting for them to call your name. See if you feel like you're headed for a nice, relaxing evening of entertainment. Or if you're fixing to get up there on a stage in front of a bunch of wild jackals and hyenas and just try to keep them at bay. That's one way you can feel. But this group, I just want to belong. I just want to be in it. I stuck around because if I could be, you know, one of the folks that was a circle keeper, which just means I have to put some names on a spreadsheet and click Zoom to start the meeting. And after that, I'm just another Warzone kid. If I'm a circle keeper, I can do 2 a year. I can have 2 of these experiences a year, and they're all different. Every circle that I do, so I've been doing that for a couple of years now. The question in the circle when we share is, what is the edge of your healing? Everyone has an answer to that. And if a person didn't know what to say, then that would mean they were right at the edge of their healing. Step number one, what is the edge of your healing? I don't know. Well, that's the edge of your healing. That not knowing, a big sea of suffering. That's the edge of your healing. It's a blob. There is no edge. It's everywhere. Everything's a wound. So start right where you are. That's all you can ever do. What's the edge of your healing? You have to be right here, right now to know what the edge of my healing is. And I can tell you what that answer is for me right now. It's in my relations with other people when I'm trying very hard, which is often the problem. If I'm trying hard to be normal around other people, then that throws me into past patterns. That throws me into a lifetime of managing people and relating people, having a stance toward humanity that I don't want to have anymore. That's what happens if I try to be good. If I'm just here, now, with you, and I try to share what's the edge of my healing, and I don't worry about being performative or what you're going to think, I just worry about how to put my thoughts and feelings into words, then I belong. And the thing that I've been trying to do all my life by performing is a character named Ben Johnson, which has never worked, because even when I belong and fit in and get praises and get elected to things and people say nice things to me while they're around me, none of that matters, because you know deep down and good and well that none of that stuff is really about you. That stuff is all really about this little paper mache version of you. And paper mache is nothing. It dissolves in the rain. The real me, the McCoy, the real Ben Johnson, he doesn't dissolve in the rain. He just needs to be there. Doesn't need to try hard to be good. I know where that leads. He just needs to be here and observe myself still being driven mad, usually at least a few times every meeting, by something that happens that I don't like, having to do with other human beings and myself in relation to them. That is the edge of my healing. And presently at this point in my life, I feel those feelings, and most of the time, I'm not swept away by them. Most of the time, the feelings wash over me and then they wash away. And I don't even feel particularly wet. Water off a pilgrim's back. The anger and rage comes in, the anger and rage goes out. And what is my anger and rage about? I observe this as I watch it, as I watch those feelings wash over me. They're about fear that someone's going to take my circle away. These other people are going to take my circle away and get in between me and my healing. I'm furiously angry at them. Therefore, in real danger of becoming the guy who's going to take other people's healing away from them is my fear. That's a grandiose fear, right? I have control over their healing. I can ruin it. I have to be good, or I won't or I will destroy other people's healing. And hogwash. They can't take my healing away. It's mine. They can't take it. I can't give it to them also. I can't. All I can do is share and put myself in my little box in the Brady Bunch Zoom screen and share what my experience has been like. That's all they can do with me. They can't fix me or heal me, and if they try, it's going to push me away. I saw something else in circles. Everybody has a full plate. All of us Warzone kids have a full plate. A wise friend of mine told me that. And all we can really have is a full plate. It's a conversation that happens somewhat frequently. Someone will express a feeling that they don't feel like they deserve to be there because what happened to them wasn't as bad as what happened to someone else. I don't know if it's universal, but I've sure heard it a lot, and I felt it a lot. I got imposter syndrome. So do all the rest of them. That's not true. Many people feel they have imposter syndrome because they hear someone else's story which strikes them as worse than theirs. But things I've seen with my own eyeballs are the same people feeling that way about each other. And it's never true. All you can really have is a full plate. There's no bright line you can draw between the amount of harm caused and how dramatic sounding the events are. It's just not. It all has to do with a moment in time, with that person's psyche in that world, and the reality of the whole picture that they had to deal with. And they come out the other side with whatever reality of the harm was. That's it. Whatever the level of harm is, whatever that harm is, that's what it is. And it is a full plate. No matter what's on it, it's a full plate. I don't know if you eat what's on the plate. I don't know where that metaphor goes, but I like it. It's a full plate. Eat what's on your plate, boy. That took a turn for the dark. I don't like that. Forced eating. That is not how we operate in Hidden Water. And I'm just a volunteer for make it extremely clear. I'm just a volunteer. I'm just a child sex abuse survivor who gets a lot out of healing circles, and I like going back. It's a wonderful organization. I'm not. It's not an ad for them. I don't represent the organization at all in any way. I'm just a volunteer. So it's a channel about healing together. Welcome to the channel.